I never imagined I'd hear the words my wife hurled at me that night. "You're terrible in bed, Michael," she said, icy and unflinching. Her arms crossed over her chest, as if she had just delivered some ultimate verdict. We'd been married for 5 years, and never once had she spoken to me like that. I froze, stunned, feeling like the very ground beneath our marriage had split open. It had started with a minor quarrel over chores. Lauren, my wife, was irritated that I hadn't folded the laundry after coming home from work. I was drained, utterly exhausted after teaching late at the community college in Boise, Idaho, and I told her I'd do it in the morning. Somehow, that tiny annoyance spiraled. She began picking apart everything. How I forgot to take out the trash. How I stopped planning date nights. How I wasn't as attentive as I used to be. And then, like a blade, she delivered that line. "You're bad in bed." Silence swallowed the room. My chest constricted, my hands turned cold. That wasn't just an insult, it was humiliation. The kind that cuts deeper because it comes from the one person who's supposed to see you at your most vulnerable and still protect you. I laughed bitterly, a feeble shield against the sting. "Really, Lauren? That's where this is headed?" Her lips curved into a smirk. "I'm just being honest. Maybe if you weren't so boring, I wouldn't feel like I'm missing out." I wanted to scream, to tell her how cruel she was, but before I could speak, a voice from the doorway froze us both. Her best friend, Sophia, who'd come over earlier for wine, had overheard everything. She stepped into the living room, arms crossed, eyes sharp on Lauren. "That's not true," Sophia said, her voice calm but cutting. "Don't lie to him. You and I both know he's not the problem here." Lauren's face went pale, then flushed red with anger. She spun toward Sophia, eyes wide, as though struck by betrayal in its rawest form. "What did you just say?" she demanded, voice trembling between fury and panic. "Sophia, you have no right." But Sophia didn't flinch. She held her ground, gaze locked on my wife. "No right, Lauren. You just humiliated your husband over something that isn't even true. I've heard you brag before about how passionate your nights are with him. Don't pretend you've been suffering." My jaw dropped. I wasn't sure what shocked me more, Sophia defending me, or the realization that my wife had once spoken positively about our intimacy to her friend. Lauren's lips quivered as she tried to speak, but all that came out was a harsh, "Shut up, Sophia." I sat frozen on the couch, torn between wanting to vanish and demanding the truth. The air grew heavier with every passing second. Lauren's hands shook as she grabbed a glass from the coffee table and slammed it down. "Why are you saying this? What's your angle?" Sophia let out a bitter laugh. "My angle? Maybe I'm just tired of watching you tear down a man who actually loves you. You push him away, then blame him. You humiliate him to cover your own guilt." "Guilt?" I finally spoke, voice low. "What guilt?" Lauren turned to me, eyes darting like a cornered animal, opening her mouth, then closing it again. Sophia answered, her tone sharp and unyielding. "She's been texting another guy, Michael. I've seen it. I didn't want to get involved, but hearing you say that. No, you don't deserve this." It felt like the floor dropped beneath me. My ears rang, my pulse pounded. I stared at Lauren, the woman I trusted with every piece of myself. "Is that true?" I asked, voice trembling. Lauren's face had drained of color. It's not what you think," she stammered, voice small. Sophia shook her head, disgust clear in her expression. "Don't lie again, Lauren. He deserves the truth. You've been tearing him down to hide your own betrayal. Isn't that what this is really about?" Lauren's lips parted, but no words came. Her silence screamed louder than any confession. The tension stretched until it became unbearable. I felt the walls closing in, each second heavier than the last. My wife, the woman I thought I knew better than anyone, sat before me, unable to deny the truth. That silence alone said it all. "Lauren," I whispered, my voice breaking, "after everything we've been through, why?" Tears welled in her eyes, but not the tears of remorse. They were tears of exposure. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she murmured, stumbling over her words. "It was just someone who made me feel wanted. I never stopped loving you. I just..." I cut her off. Stop. The word hung in the room like a verdict. My chest tightened, but I forced myself to breathe, to speak. You humiliated me. Told me I wasn't good enough. All because you couldn't face your own lies. Do you realize what you've done? Lauren reached for me, but I pulled away before her hand could touch mine. The very thought made my skin crawl. She looked to Sophia as if pleading for help, but Sophia's face was cold. I'm done covering for you, Sophia said sharply. You hurt him to protect yourself, and I won't stand by it anymore. If you loved him, you wouldn't have destroyed his trust just to save face. For the first time in our marriage, Lauren was cornered, with nowhere to hide. The sharp-tongued woman who once wielded words like weapons sat speechless, defenses stripped away. I rose slowly, hands shaking, heart torn between devastation and a strange clarity. I don't know what the future holds, Lauren, but I do know this: our marriage can't survive on lies, and I won't let you make me feel worthless for your mistakes. Lauren sobbed quietly, but I didn't wait for excuses. I walked to the door, body heavy, mind surprisingly calm. Sophia gave me a small, supportive nod as I passed. That night marked the death of the marriage we once believed unbreakable. The pain was sharp, but beneath it was something new: resolve. Lauren's betrayal had shattered me, but it had also freed me. For the first time in years, I stood on my own, ready to rebuild a life without her shadow darkening my path.